Coming up this week on the Course of Life podcast at the Byron Nelson, a familiar face returning back to the winner's circle for the first time in years in a fitting Mother's Day setting, plus our full PGA Championship preview. The second major is here with Live versus PGA Tour storylines, our picks and sleepers, and a whole lot more. Plus, we're tuned into compelling, timeless songs, and as well a little Zelda reunion in the form of some new Zelda content coming everyone's way. This week's guest, we've got a twofer. First up, LPGA Tour Pro Annie Park, who I met at the Chevron Championship, a really funny guest and a great conversation. And second, we have Jessie Mueller. He won the 2022 edition of the PGA Professional National Championship that I attended a couple weeks ago. It was really cool to catch up with him and talk all things Grand Canyon University as well, too. Plus, it was an anniversary dinner recap and all of our food highlights when we always end with food, including a wonderful cake from my co-host. All of it brought to you by our friends, good friends of the show. We love the Live Take app. Everything goes through Live Take, and our weekly debates are held there, and it's exactly where you can hold your favorite sports debates with not only your friends, but your colleagues and everybody out there in your life. The Live Take app is a unique functionary point where everyone can meet and have challenges with one another and debate anything going on in the world of sports. We love talking about different golf topics, and you can revisit some of our past debates, and there's new challenges every single week. The nice part is you vote, and you decide who wins the take and the challenge. The people decide the winner, not just your friends on the couch as you're watching TV. So challenge us. Check out our challenge this week on the Live Take Sports app, where we debate a new interesting topic within the game of golf. Again, it's the Live Take app. Download today.
Hello, interwebs, and welcome to Course of Life. We are proud to be presented by our friends at Desert Fox Golf and the Live Take app. I'm Michael, he's Alex. And Alex, for the first time since the Wells Fargo Championship in 2018,
wow,
Jason Day has returned to the winner's circle. He shot a 62 today. Sunday, we're recording again on a Sunday, to notch his victory back in the circle. Just an incredible return to form by a guy who was able to win major championships while having vertigo and then just fell off the radar.
He did. Yeah. And I was wondering how long it had been since the last win. So thank you for answering that. Just a week over 5 years since his last victory. And people will remember it was 2015-16. For those of you who are wondering, when was peak Jason Day? That's when he was dominating the world. He did ascend to the number one ranking in the world ranking. He was a major champion, and it was an impressive run that he went on. And a lot of things got in the way. Not only obviously just life and everything going on with him getting older in the game, but tons of injury setbacks, not only the vertigo you mentioned, but repeated back injuries. It was a running joke on social media whenever Jason Day withdrew on a Thursday or Friday morning with a back injury. It's been kind of a thing we laughed at for years, but he's really gone through it. And to see him emerge through these struggles and get back into the winner's circle, honestly, Mike, I knew he'd be around on the PGA Tour, but wasn't really sure he'd ever get back in the winner's circle again. A very impressive way to do it.
You know, he was looking good all year. I think I even called out his name for the Masters and some other big tournaments earlier in the year, that he looked like he was knocking on the door. He had good form. He was notching a lot of top 5 and top 10s. Finally able to do it here. Of course, that probably means he's not going to win next week. Oh, well.
Yeah, I know. I said that to my wife. I was like, the 2 weeks in a row thing's hard. I was like, no, of note, he is a PGA champion for what it's worth. He's won the PGA Championship before, totally different course, venue, whatnot, 8 years later. But regardless, really cool to see him get the win when he did. The whole family was there, the wife and all the kids. This is, again, one of those signs where I know how old we're getting, Mike, because I remember when Jason Day's oldest son, Dash, was just a little 3 or 4 year old toddler running around the greens. Now he's like a grown adolescent teenager cheering on his dad as he wins. So that's how time is flying in the world of golf.
Of note in the field, some other names that were doing quite well. Scotty Scheffler was sniffing around. He's had issues really making big putts recently, and that seems to be what's holding him back. But the rest of his game is certainly there. If he can figure that out, is he going to win another major in a week?
That's a nice hometown lead up for him there. Nice Dallas event where he can sleep at home for a week and still play and keep the competitive juices flowing. We debated what this looks like last week on the Live Take app, playing the week of the before major versus not, or taking the rest. This is kind of a little in between one for him because it was a home game. He got to keep the juices flowing, play 4 rounds. He was in contention, but you're right, just a putt or two short. I'm not putting a whole lot of stock in that though, Mike. He's still at the top of my list. He's one of the first 3 or 5 guys you're looking at this coming week at Oak Hill.
I also want to shout out Siwoo Kim, a very strong 22 under to tie with. Who's this guy? Austin Eckroat?
Yeah, I think he's only had, maybe 30, 40 or so starts on the PGA Tour. Definitely been roaming around the Korn Ferry Monday qualifier circuit. That's how I know that name. Just one of those adjacent names in the game of golf. And just another example to show you just how freaking deep all these fields are, which is why it's exciting to see the Korn Ferry Tour getting more promotion and publicity this week with the Barstool Sports coverage announcement as well too. So it just shows you how deep these mini tour fields are that go beyond the PGA Tour you see on TV.
The other 2 names I'm going to shout out, just because we are heading into a major championship, is Terrell Hatton, who's been doing very well the last few weeks. He seems to constantly be on the top of these leaderboards. And the other is the journeyman, if we can call him that at this point, Adam Scott.
Yeah, and only 1 major between the 2 of those guys. Kind of interesting, you'd think, with all the world-class events those guys have competed in over the years. Scott's had some good form recently. I mean, again, I get suckered in by Adam Scott's silky smooth swing. I still am. After all these years, Mike, I'm still a sucker for it because we all know the classic story, Adam Scott's swing built on early Tiger Woods' swing. So you just get all those vibes whenever you watch him play golf. So yeah, I mean, you could watch out for him. I do like the fact that it's a tough golf course coming in this week, and we'll touch on it in a second, but that might favor a guy like Scott or maybe a guy like Hatton who's ready to grind it out.
All right, let's look ahead to this next week. It is the PGA Championship at Oak Hill. I mean, it's a beautiful course, as always. The stars will be out from all the tours.
Both. The convergence of LIV and the PGA Tour. And this one, Mike, I think is notable to you. I want to get your analysis based on this little tidbit here. So last time when they converged the Masters, Koepka, Phil, Reed, they all contended. LIV looked really great, but that's a course they visit every year. There was a ton of familiarity with Augusta National. Now they converge at a major championship at an unfamiliar, tougher course we haven't seen in a decade. What do you think that formula might equal this week?
I don't think anyone has an edge here other than the guys who are constantly playing in the toughest fields in the game of golf. In other words,
that's what I'm kind of leading into is that I think the familiarity at Augusta maybe allowed the LIV Tour players to quickly acquiesce with a course they already kind of knew very well. This is going to be a different ball game. I'm sure there were some scouting missions by the top players that have gotten to Oak Hill in advance, but I'm very curious to see how they perform on a real gruel and brute of a track. This is a course that's going to yield a winner in single digits under par. This is Rochester, New York in mid-May. There will be no highs over 70 degrees. It will be cooler in the mornings. The rough is grown. The course is long. I've already seen photos out there. So for the LIV contingent, the LIV fanboys, the LIV supporters out there, you'd want to see them excel at a course like this, because then that completely proves the theory that these guys are not showing any rust, because they can if they contend this week, Mike, I think they can contend at any course in the years ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting experiment maybe to really see, are these guys able to stay sharp and come out here and play at a course like this? They're playing in Tucson during this weekend, and I don't know if you saw some of the pictures of the course. The course Tulsa, looked like it was not in Tulsa did not look like it was in great shape.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a flat layout. There's nothing that screamed major championship prep about that course. Now here's not to say that they're not playing great golf in their own right. The winners are up between 15 and 20 under par this past week on the LIV Tour, but Yeah, again, that's what I'm harping on is have the live golfers subjected themselves to a test of this durability and difficulty in the last 90 days? And if they have, are they able to repeat good golf on that over the course of 72 holes? That's the ultimate test that we're watching for this week. And it's going to be fascinating to see all the world's best. And boy, I just hope the PGA Championship mixes up some nice juicy tee times so we have some fun groups this week to watch.
Yeah. See, the grouping that I want to see, and I'm curious to hear which of these three guys you think has the best chance.
Okay, yeah, give me a little lottery ball with three players.
I want an Australian group. I want Australians. I want Jason Day, I want Adam Scott, and I want Cam Smith.
Yes.
Who of these three has the best chance to win the PGA?
Okay, live odds in that group of three. Cam Smith, minus 120, the favorite. Adam Scott, plus 115. Jason Day, plus 150 or something like that. I'd rank them 1, 2, 3 in that order, but there's not much of a separation there. That's a good little anecdote because all three of those guys from the same country have all shown some interesting form. So if you want to have fun with it and you want to bet country specific or maybe find a low Aussie, because those bets are out there for sure, that could be an interesting play this week.
Yeah. Looking at the other guys in the field, John Rahm, defending Masters champion.
Why not? He's on fire. I mean, why not,
yeah.
right?
I think he has a better chance than Rory McIlroy, who hasn't even played really at all recently. So
fair enough. Okay, yeah. Fair play. Yeah, he's a PGA champion in his own right. We just talked about Scotty, decent form last week. Max Homa's been on our radar for a while here. I'm going to throw that name out because he is ready and major championship ready to get it done on the biggest stage. You got any others? I'm definitely, I've got Matt Fitzpatrick on my mind. He hasn't had the greatest form in the last month or so, but he is good on these really tough courses where fairways are a premium. He just slaps that driver out there. He minds his own business. He plays his own game. And I think you're going to need that kind of head down, don't worry about anyone else type of mentality this week.
I think what would be a really interesting guy to see at the top of the leaderboard, I don't think it's going to happen, but I think we'd all root for it if it did happen, would be Ricky Fowler. Back in the top 50 in the world, right? Since a couple weeks ago, he got back into the top 50. He's playing much better. I don't know if that's going to translate into Oak Hill into success, but you never know.
Intriguing. I'm going to give a quick shout out before we get into maybe some random sleepers as well, too. I want to give a shout out to one of the PGA pros that I interviewed when I was in New Mexico a couple weeks ago. As you remember, I was there at the PGA Professional National Championship. 20 club pros have qualified for the PGA Championship and they're in the field. JJ Colleen, who was last week's guest, is in the field. So shout out JJ. We're going to be following him all week. See if we can will him to the weekend. He didn't quite make the weekend at the Byron Nelson, but his game's in good form. He had a good range session this past weekend before he went out to Oak Hill. And Braden Shattuck, too, who I interviewed after the first round. He ended up winning that tournament in New Mexico. He hoisted the trophy. So let's see if he can't continue some of that momentum into the PGA Championship. Always fun to see a club pro or two make the cut and fool around with contending, because it's always one of those random things in sports that's like, how in the hell is this guy in the tournament? I don't know, but it's awesome and I love golf, so let's make it happen.
Exactly. If you want me to give that a sleeper, I don't know if he's a sleeper, if he's just middle of the pack. I'm going to throw the name out there anyway, because we're fans of him. Is Keegan Bradley.
Yeah, I know. We like to do this every 90 days. We always come around on Keegan. And again, it's funny you stumble into it. Also a PGA champion. People forget Keegan Bradley won a PGA championship for his first ever tour win. So he's done more improbable things on the golf course. I'm going to shout out the hottest live player right now. Let's shout out Taylor Gooch. Not a guy I've really ever been a huge fan of, but you got to recognize the fact that he has won 2 of the last 3 live events out there. I don't care what course you're playing on, who you're playing against. If you've got a bunch of guys that are world-class players out there playing golf and you win 2 weeks in a row, you're doing something right. So I think out of the live contingent, you're going to watch out for maybe him, maybe a little Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka action. I'd watch out for those guys this week.
All right. And you're, of course, going to have full previews up on Run Your Pool as usual.
I've got the full betting preview, and then I've got a separate article, Mike, all about live versus the PGA Tour, who you're going to back this week. I gave you a little hint right there, but I'll tell you who I'm going to back regarding the live contingent versus the PGA contingent this week at Oak Hill.
And we'll see what happens. We'll be on Twitter all time, too, as it continues to burn the ground, like I say every week, because it still is. And we'll be there. We'll be tweeting about it, or at least listening to other people tweet about it. So we'll see what happens there. But for now, let's switch over to Tuned In, where we share what we're tuning into outside of the world of sports. I have not seen my wife for 3 days.
Wow.
And that is because she has kind of cocooned herself on the couch.
Oh, boy.
To play the new Zelda Tears of the Kingdom game.
That's so funny. I love that that's what she's binging right now. That's awesome, man.
I mean, I got about 30, 45 minutes of playtime in Saturday morning. But other than that, if I want anything to do with the television, I got to go to the other one that's upstairs. So
my first Zelda memory is the Ocarina of Time on N64. That's my earliest Zelda memory. One of the proudest video gaming moments of my life was the Saturday afternoon. I was at my friend Zach's house and I beat the Ocarina of Time in the final boss. I mean, these are seminal moments in your childhood, Mike, where you remember exactly where you are. So to hear that there is a new Zelda game out and there are people in my life that are binge playing it, it makes me feel a little warm and fuzzy inside.
Well, you know what's crazy is that I saw that a speedrunner completed the game in 94 minutes.
Wow.
The wife has been playing it for probably, I'm going to go ahead and guess, at least 6 hours of game time since Friday. And she is nowhere near probably halfway through the game. Probably not even near a quarter of the way.
Hours instead, maybe?
Yeah, so...
All right, new Zelda's out. Alert the presses. Love it. Good stuff. I'm tuned into music, and I've been listening to a lot of music. I've been doing a lot of traveling in recent weeks, and it kind of got me on a random subject. It's a very open-ended debate, but it's just a list I decided to start compiling in my phone of just non-objectionable, universally recognized timeless songs. They can go across any genre, any age, any decade. Songs that just, when they come on, 9 out of 10 people in the room know them immediately, and they are just universally listened to and enjoyed and talked about fondly. So I'll open it up to you, Mike, because I've got a list that I'm working on. It's obviously in its infancy. I've only got about 30 or so songs on it. I won't bore you with the entire list, but what do you got if you're just thinking of just a timeless song that just transcends generations?
Almost anything from Queen. We Are the Champions.
Okay.
In particular,
Good pick. So, FYI, Bohemian Rhapsody is already on the list.
As it should be. It should be toward the top of the list if it's not.
So then it gets into this question of how many songs, listen, yes, Queen, iconic song, but how many Queen songs can you put on? There has to be a line where, you can't put 5 Queen songs on. So if you're only going to put 2, would that be it? Would it be We Are the Champions and Bohemian Rhapsody?
Well, We Are the Champions and We Will Rock You, while they are 2 separate songs, are really one song. They are played concurrently. So... Or consecutively, I should say consecutively. So, and to say that you're going to limit an artist simply because you don't want too many of that artist is a disservice to the timelessness of the artist.
Yeah.
So, Queen, the Beatles, what are you going to only take 2 Beatles songs?
Yeah,
Which 2 are you going to take?
What are you even going to do? That's a tough lottery. Okay, so this is a good debate. I'm putting a quick assignment on you. I would like you to post this to the masses, and I'd like to get a quick poll out there on social at COL Podcast on Instagram and find out what are these timeless songs. So what are these? What are the truly timeless songs? Because the list is in its infancy right now, Mike. Thoughts on In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins? That's timeless, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we're doing Disney music now.
I don't know. Anything. It's got to go across any genre. How about Dancing Queen, ABBA?
Oh, unfortunately, yes. I hate ABBA, but there's Dancing Queen.
I appreciate that you said unfortunately. These don't necessarily have to be songs you like, but you just have to recognize that they are timeless.
I do think of a lot of timeless songs as songs you hear at sporting events, like We Are the Champions, like Enter the Jungle, which is, I don't even remember. Is that Metallica? That's not
Welcome
Metallica.
To the Jungle, yeah.
Metallica. AC/DC. Metallica is Enter Sandman.
Correct. So Enter Sandman's probably timeless. All right. Vote out there if you're out there. Listen, at COL Podcast on Instagram. I'm at Course of Life 1 on Twitter. He's at MWRINC. Any timeless songs, any. I'll add them to the list. I'll give them a quick 15-second verify, but if I deem it timeless, it's going on the list.
All right. Let's get into this week's first guest. It's another doubleheader. I think we've been doing this for the last 2 months, it feels like. And it's another interview with an LPGA Tour star that you were able to come on. And this one is a proud alum of USC.
Yeah, that's right. Fight on. Shout out to the Trojans. We're talking about Annie Park, veteran LPGA Tour player and LPGA Tour champion as well too. We talked through her magical week when she got her LPGA win, her career, life now. Really fun conversation. It was great to connect with Annie, and a really great chat coming your way with Annie Park here. All right, next up on the Course Life podcast, we're live from the Chevron Championship, new major location here in my home state of Texas. And we have a fellow Texas resident as well, too, Annie Park, joining us on the show. Annie, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's great to have you. So you're based in the Dallas area, right?
Yep. So I lived in Dallas for about 3 years now. So I've born and raised in New York, went to school in LA, lived in Orlando.
You've seen a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, yeah, me too. So I grew up in Massachusetts and now I've lived in Austin for the last 13 years. So we know about cold weather golf.
Yeah.
That's what you grew up in, right?
Yes.
So what was half of your golf season for you? Where in New York was it?
So I was born in Flushing, College Point, and then grew up right by Bethpage. So grew up playing there, all the 5 golf courses there. So yeah, I've been very lucky just growing up playing Bethpage and now based in Dallas.
Now, what was your access with Bethpage? Were you doing the wait in the car in the middle of the night for the tee time thing? I've always heard about that, but I never actually executed it before.
So I live like 10 minutes away, just like 2 exits down. So yes, for the black course, you do have to you have to get a ticket for the pre-ticket. Yeah. So it was just like a long line. Like I wouldn't do that pretty often. I would play like yellow, blue, red, green courses a lot more often. And then black, like maybe once in a while. But people don't know, back in the day, like Twilight golf for Bethpage Black was kind of the way to go. Cause like you get like half the price of like what you're paying for. And you get to play like at least like 12 or 13 holes. And they're like, it's better than waiting like 6 hours and playing golf. So
yeah, I know. Yeah. And the course employees might hate me, but I'm that person that's trying to scrape out every last inch of sunlight at the end of the day to maybe make it 18 instead of 13. Very cool. I saw you recently had a birthday celebration as well too.
Yeah, thank you.
How was that? What'd you get into?
So I was in Dallas. I was supposed to go to Alabama for a pro-am, but it got canceled because it was during that Masters weekend. I had to fly to Atlanta. Okay. And the weather was bad, so they canceled it. So I was able to spend like Friday, Saturday in Dallas, flew out to San Francisco, I was one of the guest speakers for the college events on Sunday. So we kind of pretty much did that on my birthday and then flew out to Hawaii the next day, Monday.
Nice. Well, at least you got to Hawaii in due time. It's always a good destination for everyone. I'm curious, very interesting fact that we skipped over, not only growing up in cold weather golf, but your absolute dominating year that you had in high school, where, am I correct, you were the high school state champion and you played in the U.S. Open? It was the same year or same couple year time frame or something like that? What was the actual time frame between those two moments?
So it was counties. And we played at Bethpage, and we played the red course. It's the second hardest course at Bethpage. We had to play from the back tees as the boys. And so me and another girl, Alex Lowe, I played against her brother, Matt Lowe. And it was like one of the toughest golf that I've ever played because on a par 4 and it was blowing like pretty hard. Oh, yeah. I was like driver, 3-wood on a par 4 and still had like 50, 60 yards. And I'm like scrambling for life. And then like if I had a birdie chance, I was like, I have to make birdie because I'm just going to be scrambling all day. I ended up winning the counties, shot really well that last day. And I couldn't go to state because I had another like junior invitational that I had to go to. So I chose that over state. But it was a pretty cool experience.
Very neat. One thing I wanted to get to regarding adversity that you've fought through really well in your careers, the injuries that you've had, and there's something similar going on. The PGA Tour rules out for us right now, where he's had lots of back problems, and it's something that he's going to have to work through for a long time. Tell me what has helped you persevere and stay patient and know, that it's going to be a grind to get back to where you were through injuries like that. Yeah,
I mean, I think just, whether it's golf or not golf, like any injury, it's, mentally gets to you, emotionally as well, not only physically. I think just, the biggest thing is being patient, just being patient through the injury and not rushing through it, doing, your rehab and everything. I never had an injury in my whole golf career until my second year on the LPGA, and maybe a lot of stress had to do with that. I had a back flare up that, I was like, what is this? Like, never experienced this before. Yeah. And I was like 2 to 3 months out. I've had a couple more like flare ups throughout my career, but I think learning from that first experience was that, you kind of have a different perspective where when you can't physically move, you appreciate all the other little things that, wow, like I'm able to get up every day, physically move, go to the bathroom, go to the refrigerator.
Quick,
yeah, right? For sure. Where like you're literally laying in bed and just like, I can't move.
I wish I could just drive to the bank and do an errand right now. Yeah. Like that's like as simple as that sounds.
Exactly. So I think it's just giving me a lot of perspective when I was injured. And I think like the biggest thing is we're always on the go. We never like stop and appreciate the present moments. And that's what happened was during like my rehab, and when I was injured, I just like it was a tough time, but it gave me a different outlook on just daily life, just being able to do what I can do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good perspective too. I mean, in terms of how that's kind of changed, balancing, practicing, and playing. Do you curb that or manage it a little bit more than you did before? Or
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, after being able to play and not really worry about my back, it's always lingering in the back of my head. Like, oh, I don't want it to flare up. It can flare up any moment. Like doing, my best every day. Trying not to have that flare up again. But I think the uncertainty and of like not knowing when it's going to happen again. I think there was a little period of time after the injury where I was playing golf with a little bit of fear because I couldn't like physically go after it. I was losing distance out there. So during like actually COVID, I was getting stronger. I was the strongest I've ever felt. But it's a lot of work, I think, with whether that's golf or anything else or in relationships, like, you have to put the work in it. And that's what I did during COVID.
No, that makes sense.
And played Fortnite. So
good outlet. Shout out Fortnite as well too. Annie Park joining us again, NCAA champion, LPGA Tour champion as well too. Let's talk about that moment. That's a more fun thing to talk about. Like the week that changed your life, probably the ShopRite week. Just tell me what was going to be going through your head with your game leading up to that week, and how what we can do for you.
2018 was a really crazy year. 2017 going through that injury and just struggling with golf. I was ready to leave the game. I just wanted to quit golf.
What did you think you wanted to do?
I honestly don't know. Like, I never thought about anything else, right? I thought about maybe like going through journalism, maybe, or I don't know. I mean, I still don't know to this day, but my sister gave me a great quote saying that, like, why don't we just give it another year and give it more than 100%? Just, I don't want you to regret walking away from the game. Okay. So I was like, okay, like, I'll do this again.
All right, one more run through the schedule.
One more run. So I had to Monday qualify into a couple events. The first like 2 tries, I was missing it by like 1 or 2. And, it's tough when, you feel like your game is there, but you're not getting the opportunity or the chance to play that whole week. And so, the week before San Francisco was the Mediheal Championship. Yeah. I was in LA, missed the Monday qualifying for that week, and my car got towed. I like got my rain suit like stolen. I was like, oh, this is like not my week. Like, I just want to go home.
Week, yep.
I was like, I just want to go home. My mom was like, why don't you just like, you're already in California, just drive up to San Francisco.
That's just not like, that short of a drive.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, there's no point of you like coming all the way back to like the East Coast. Like, just stay there. And I was like, oh, fine. So I ended up doing like, the coast drive. It was so nice. Yep. Did the 7-mile drive by Pebble. And, did playoff in the Monday qualifier, got in, played well that week, reshuffled in. I think I had like 2 events after that, was playing some good golf, and then ShopRite happened and got my first win. And I was like, I guess I'm continuing to play. But it was crazy for those couple months.
Awesome memories indeed of Annie Park here. And let's now jump forward to this year and where we sit. Obviously, we're right here at the first major of 2023. So what's it going to take for you to have that success in major tournaments this year here as we're looking at the 5 coming up?
I played the practice round yesterday and this morning, and I think it's just going to be a lot of patience out here. There's some tough shots. The greens are not going to be that easy. It's playing long. You're going to have to pick some targets and stick to it. I think the key is just going to be patience this week. It's going to be a long week anyways. Just enjoying as much as you can. And I actually really like this golf course. So I'm excited to play.
Yeah. And you mentioned before we hopped on that you're from Dallas. Very similar weather climate here where you can just get rain any moment. So just be ready for the adversity. Okay.
Yeah. I always tell my friends, I was like, Dallas weather, we get every weather except for perfect weather. And when perfect weather comes, it's like something's coming. I know. I'm just sitting there down there in Austin. I'm like, God, those people in Dallas, man. It's a different thing every day with them. It really is.
All right. Let's do some food questions. I've seen a lot of Korean food on your timeline. Tell me about your favorite Korean food spots in Dallas.
Oh,
for people who are going to the city.
Oh man, there's this place called Mukget. They're known for their Korean soup, but also spare ribs, and it's really really good. If you go during peak hours, you're gonna have to wait and put your name on the list. But I would recommend maybe trying going around lunchtime if you can. I love Korean food in Dallas. There's so many, BBQ chicken. I love, fried chicken once in a while. And that is my favorite. Away from Korean food, I found my favorite taco joint. I try to gatekeep this place. It's so good. But I get my Al-Pastor tacos there. It's called Chilangos. That is my favorite. Okay. Highly recommend going there as well.
Noted. There's a Korean fusion place in Austin. I don't know if it's made its way to Dallas, but it's called Cilantro.
Ooh.
And it's a Korean Mexican fusion. So you can do a bowl or tacos or any setup like that. It's amazing. It'll be there soon enough for you.
Well, there's definitely a couple places I want to go in Austin because there's a lot of Korean restaurants coming in. So that's definitely on my bucket list.
Yeah, Korean barbecue, very popular in Austin as well too. Let's ask our 19th hole question before we get to the Buccees snack basket here. What's your go-to order when you finish a round and you get into the clubhouse? That's a beautiful clubhouse right there that we're looking at. But what's your favorite meal and drink to order 19th hole?
Now, is this after a good round or a bad round?
Let's say after 66. Yeah, after a nice smooth round. Birdied the 18, you're heading into the 19th hole.
I really appreciate a good burger or tacos or even a burrito. A good burrito just satisfies,
burger is the Tiger Woods answer of that question in the 4-year history of the show. It's burger. And then the funny one that gets said a lot is a lot of people say chicken Caesar wrap or chicken wrap something that gets said a lot. Surprising amount for that question.
Yeah, I don't think I would pick that. Yeah. I think burger. I love tacos and burritos, so probably that would be my go-to if I can. And maybe and finishing it off with ice cream.
Yeah, that's always good. Yeah, can't go wrong with ice cream. All right, random rule question time before we get to our giveaway. We're just stopping at a random page. Tell me to stop.
Okay, stop.
All right. Next stroke where the previous stroke made. Oh, wow. This is about making the next stroke from where the previous stroke was made. What was just the most egg on face shot you've ever had where the ball just barely moved or didn't even move? You actually swung at the ball and it just didn't go anywhere. A plug bunker lie or against a tree or in 2 feet of rough somewhere.
I think it always happens when you're in the hazard and you see your ball or you don't know if it's plugged or not. And so if it's somewhere you can actually hit it, if you can hit it, but sometimes if there's rough, it's thick rough and you don't know if it's embedded, if it's playing wet, and you try to go after it and it's it didn't go out.
No one saw that, right? No one saw that? Okay, good.
No, but I actually had that in Arizona. It was on the last hole on the last day. It's par 5. And I was in the rocks. So it was in the water. I had to take my shoe off, go in the water where there was rocks. But I'm trying to hit the golf ball, but there's rocks there. So I hit it. and I like couldn't see because like all these rocks are flying, and I was
God.
oh no, it
Please
didn't get through.
It's not out.
And then I saw like it go in the bunker, and I was like, okay, at least I'm like out of this. But that was like terrifying.
At least it got out. Bottom line.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the Buccees snack grab. You know Buccees because you're a Texan. Let's take a look at what we got left here. So me and my co-host actually have bets on what order things are going to be taken. So that's why we're very intrigued by what people are going to take. So Gemma Dryberg was first, and she took the banana and milk chocolate chips off the board. So we still have the Nutty Bites. We have the sweet and savory trail mix, the world famous beaver nuggets, jalapeno cheese puffs, and chocolate meringues, which is kind of a wild card. But what are we going with today?
I've never seen this nuggets.
Kind of like a corn nugget taste with caramel, sweet flavor.
I'm going to go with the sweet and savory trail mix.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there.
I mean, Buccees is known for their nuts, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah. You kidding me?
We got to go for
a
it.
whole wall full of that.
Yeah. I love Buccees.
They overdo everything, but in the best way, because that's the way Texas is, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well,
Annie, thank you so much for hopping on. Appreciate it. Good luck this week, and good luck with the rest of the season as
perfect.
well, too.
Thank you so much.
That conversation with Annie Park brought to you by our friends at Swing Juice. And Mike, I tell you all the time, I've been traveling left and right. You need comfortable clothes, not only when you play golf, but just when you travel and live life. And that's exactly what Swing Juice is for. So check out swingjuice.com and use our promo code LIFE20. Check out everything they have to offer, from comfy wear to golf wear, the hoodies, the shirts, everything. They have it all, and they have the right vibes for you, the golfer out there. I know you want cool clothes, you're a golfer, but you don't want it to be too over the top. This is the exact brand for you. So check out swingjuice.com, promo code LIFE20, swingjuice.com, save today.
And we're back. Great chat there with Annie. You know, I love almost all Asian food, Korean included, because it's just so the umami you get out of that part of the cuisine from that part of the world is just amazing to me.
And explain umami. We're talking about the sixth sense here, right? Is that what we're referring to here?
Yeah, it's that kind of sweet, savory blending of flavors that gives you a little bit of everything. It's just kind of like perfect balance. And I may be describing that entirely wrong, but that's what it is to me.
No, I appreciate that. Well said. Yeah, Korean food, great. Shout out. I'm glad I got to talk about cilantro with an LPGA Tour player. That was a fun conversation. Again, follow Annie. She's a real fun follow, and she shows off her career and life on the LPGA Tour and everything she's into as well too. So give Annie a follow, and be sure to keep you updated on her progress on tour as well too.
All right, let's get into our second guest. As you said at the very top of the show, won the 2022 PGA Professional National Championship, which means he gets to play in the PGA, and he's doing it again, right?
I wish, man. I wish I could have said right now that Jessie qualified, because 20 guys, like I said earlier, did make it into the field at Oak Hill. Jessie was not one of those guys. But here's what is cool about Jessie, Mike. Not only did he play in last year's PGA Championship, he played in 2 U.S. Opens. I didn't even realize this until we started talking, and then we got into the grind that is U.S. Open qualifying. So this guy, just casual club pro with 3 major championships of experience, NBD, right? Here's a really cool conversation coming your way with Jessie Mueller.
But before we get into that conversation, let's talk about our good friends at Desert Fox Golf. They make a lot of great customizable products, from their phone caddy to their Swing A tumbler, towels, and other goodies. And of course, there's nothing quite like getting cool swag and goodies when you do a golf outing, right, Alex? There's nothing better than having that for you to remember this event, and for you as an event planner to be able to advertise to the masses.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the idea. So if you out there are part of a golf event, or your company is having a large golf event with 100 or more playing, and you want accessories or swag bag gifts for your coworkers, your friends, or anything in your large outing, hit us up, hit Desert Fox Golf up, or hit us up on social media, and you will get a $100 referral for booking that outing of 100 or more golfers that have Desert Fox apparel in their carts. So it's easy. If your group outing wants to go up phone caddies, hit up us or Desert Fox Golf today, and we'll be sure to get you that $100 refill. It's easy. It's money for you for having your event be cooler. So golfers out there, this is your note to use Desert Fox Golf for all of your events from here on out. Next up, Alex here with the Course of Life podcast, joined by the 2022 champion of the PGA Professional National Championship, back again to defend the title here at Twin Warriors in Santa Ana. Jessie Mueller joining the Course of Life. Jessie, how you doing today?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. So this is an interesting vibe for you, I feel like. You know, I'm sure you probably had some sort of victories in your playing career at some point, but that was a unique win that you had last year, obviously propelling you to play in the PGA Championship, which is what everyone is out here to do. How does it feel kind of coming back to an event where you've had so much success? Yeah,
it's definitely different this year than the last couple of years I played going into the event. Yeah. You just have this is a different outlook heading in. Last year, obviously, I was playing well, and I thought that I had a chance, but then things kind of came together, and I ended up winning. And this year, I feel like I have a chance again, but it's just so hard to win a type of these type of events with so many good players. So I just want to put myself in position in the last couple of days and see what happens.
Very cool. So we're out here in New Mexico, but I am from Austin, where I live now. That's where you had your victory at Barton Creek. We'll do a quick look back because I know we're focused on the goal this week, but tell me about last year and the experience at Barton Creek and coming out on top of the event.
Yeah, I really like the course. And I think this course is a little bit similar in that you need to drive it really well, because here they have some desert type landscape outside the fairways, but there they had a lot of thick trees. So it was very important to hit the ball in the fairway, and both courses have quite a bit of wind. So being able to drive it in the fairway with wind was really key last year and this year as well.
So I think the defending champion moniker is interesting with an event like this because it keeps switching venues. Mm-hmm. So it's one thing to maybe lean on you as the defending champion, but now that we're at a different venue, you mentioned the similarities in the courses, but for you defending as a champion, is it more confidence to do it again because you just did, or do you feel that pressure of having to perform again this year?
Not so much. I know I'm going to have a chance if I play well, but it's really hard to. I don't know if there's been a repeat champion, and it's really hard to win this event twice. It's hard to win this event once. So we'll see what happens. I know I have the game to do it. It just usually things have to fall into place to be able to. You have to play well over 4 days and get a couple good breaks and have things go your way to come out on top of these type of things.
What part of your game do you think it will be this week if we see you, say, back at the PGA Championship again this year?
Usually putting. When you win events, you have to make some putts. Yeah. So making the putts under 5 feet, and then rolling some ones in longer. Usually you're not winning. You can finish the top 10, top 20 by hitting the ball well and not putting great. But to be able to win events, usually you have to putt well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious, when you do come to a new course like this, you said you got here a couple days in advance. Yeah. This is a tip really for anyone out there who's trying to learn a new course, whether it's their local tournament or they're just playing a new course against their buddies and they want to dominate. Yep. What are you going and scouting most actively, and what are you looking for when you play a course the first time to learn it as fast as you can? Yeah,
a couple things off the tee, like the lines that I want to take and the clubs to hit off the tee to give myself the biggest chance or biggest percentage to hit it in the fairways. Yeah. Because a lot of the holes out here are dog legs and they narrow at certain spots. So sometimes it's a little more, it's wider to hit driver up closer, or then sometimes wider to lay back from 250 off the tee and leave yourself 175 rather than try to push it up there. And the other thing probably is the speed of the greens. So getting comfortable with the pace, because if you're not comfortable with the pace, it's hard to give yourself make a confident roll on anything. Yeah.
And when you get to that practice green, what does that look like for you? Do you start with short putts and go longer, or do you just start right off the bat and hit a few 50 footers to just kind of get the muscles loose? How do you like to do that?
I don't know if I have a certain order, but I definitely do both. So I practice a lot from inside the 6 foot range, because you get a ton of those throughout the week, and then a lot of 20 to 30, 40 footers to try to get that pace right. That just gives me so much more confidence that I'm trying to make those putts if I'm confident in the pace.
Very cool. I want to do a quick little backtrack to obviously the goal, which is on every club pro's mind here is if they can't win, get themselves to the PGA Championship. Yep. That unbelievable feat of playing in a major championship. Yeah. This is what makes this unique event to any other event in golf. Is that there are 20 spots on a major championship.
Yes,
on the line. Like that's just wild to say out loud. Looking back on last year, Southern Hills, Monday, Tuesday on the range, getting used to that environment of playing on that stage. What were your biggest learning experiences there?
Yeah, playing in a major championship. The golf courses are just so severe. I'll say that is the biggest difference. There's just no room for error out there. The rough is really tall. The pin placements are tough. The greens fall off. So just learning how to really manage your game. And your weaknesses are just really exposed. So that's probably the main difference between that course may play completely different 6 months ago, but how the PGA sets it up, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're good at that.
Yes, they are. That's right.
He says, laughing.
Yes.
Jessie Mueller, 2022 champ of the PGA Professional National Championship, joining us here on the Course of Life. Let's talk about where you come from. Every club pro in this event has a story about their club and where they come from. Tell us a little bit about where you are and where you play out of as well.
Yeah, I work out at Grand Canyon University's golf course in Phoenix. So the university is located in central Phoenix, and they have the golf course. It's about 5 miles from campus. So I've been there for about 8.5 years now, and I love working out there. And I also work with the team, the men's golf team, a little bit too. So managing the golf course I love it, and then also it helps my game stay in shape. Playing with the college team as well. So
you're out there playing the Masters with them.
I don't travel with the team, but I'm out there with practice, and we go back and forth. So it's good.
They keep you young. I like that.
That's right.
And GCU, that rings a bell for a lot of sports fans. We just saw them in March Madness as well too for the basketball fans out there. But tell me about that campus. I first came across GCU for their extremely viral videos of the crazy fan and environment at their basketball games. Yep. What's your background with the school? And I know you have a long background in the Valley area, but what's your background with GCU and how you got there?
Yeah, I've been in Phoenix my whole life. And then while I was playing professionally, and then I started to transition out into working in the golf industry. And I had a great opportunity to work there. And then it's been an amazing experience to kind of watch the university grow. And then you mentioned the basketball games. I do have season tickets. I try to go to all those games, and it is amazing. They have about 7,500 seats and about 4,000 are students, and they're sitting right on the floor. So there's a lot of energy that comes to those games. So they're all fun. Yep.
Yeah, people need to get to YouTube immediately and watch these GCU intro videos if they haven't already. How did that initiative start with the university to get the crowd so into it and at such a high volume, like beyond any other gym in college basketball? There's got to be a team kind of on the university side that helps kind of get the students in there, right?
Yeah, the executive team really wanted to make that a focus to have the student-led group. So they're called the Havocs.
Nice.
And they organize everything that goes on their side with game day. So they have meetings, student-led meetings with the university executive team on game day operations, activities, what they're doing during the game. So it's pretty fun experience. That'll be for them to be sitting down with the top level of the university, going over how they plan the game days. So
very cool. You know what we need now was for the GCU golf team. We need some walk-up music for them. We have to mimic a little bit of the Havoc environment, maybe for a GCU golf event or something like that. It's just an idea for the future, maybe. I know they do it a lot at with the Zurich Classic and the live events have crazy amount of walk-up music. So I don't know, maybe bring a little volume to the golf events. Could be something they do for the future.
Absolutely.
As well, too.
I think that's a great idea.
Love it. Again, Jessie Mueller joining us here, Course of Life podcast. And a very interesting story. I have to ask about your wife caddying for you as well, too. Your wife, Jessie.
Yes.
Tell me about the background with you and your wife's relationship and how you got together.
Yeah. So she knows golf and she's played golf pretty much her whole life. Doesn't play as much anymore. Now we have kids and she's busy. But when I was playing full time, she would caddy for me a bit. She caddied for me in the U.S. Open 2012, and she caddied for me last year in the PGA and the U.S. Open. So I feel comfortable with her on the bag, and obviously she was there with me last year at the PPC. So it's because I don't have to play full time, so it's kind of getting used to a new caddy, and she's obviously I'm very comfortable with her, so it's easy. It's easy for me just to have her on the back.
So have you tried the bros before? And then you asked the wife one day, I'm curious how that all went down.
Yeah. I don't know, because they have caddy for me as well.
Yeah.
But they're kind of busy too. But I don't know. I got in, maybe getting into the U.S. Open with her on the bag. And then I had so much success kind of early with her that I just keep it going. So
nice.
Yeah.
That's another thing I want to mention too, the U.S. Open qualifying process to you. Local, sectional, going through that and getting through now. Twice you've gotten through.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What did you learn to help maybe get you through the second time that maybe you didn't know the first time about that qualifying process? It's a grind.
Yeah, it is. Probably just to be patient. It's 36 holes, a long day. If you don't get off to the best start, it's okay. There's holes to make it up.
Yeah.
And if you're not 2-3 under on the front nine, if you're a couple over, just stay patient, because you might get on a run and shoot 3-4 under on the back nine. And that kind of happened to me this last year. I can't remember what I was. I was probably 2 or 3 shots out of the number. Then on my 14th hole, I holed out from 60 yards for eagle, and then birdied the next hole. So I went 3 under for 2 holes, and that got me on the number. And I was just kind of hanging around 1, 2, 3 under the whole day. And then sometimes that happens. So I've probably done U.S. Open locals and sectionals. Locals 20 times and sectionals probably 10 times. So that's probably what I've learned from playing in sectionals. Yeah.
Very cool. I'm curious, wife Jessie on the bag, and your name's Jessie. When people yell out Jessie, do you guys both turn heads every single time, or is it just her or just you?
Probably, because half the time they're probably asking for her too. So
yeah, she's more important.
Right? Exactly, 100%. That's right.
Love it. All right, Jessie, let's get into some fun stuff now. Let's start with a quick this or that golf edition.
Yes.
Okay, real simple questions for you. This or that. We're starting with at the turn. Is it a hot dog or a protein bar?
Hot dog.
Okay. Hole in one or albatross this week? Which one would you rather make?
I'll do albatross.
Nice. It's more rare.
It is, yes.
And as my buddy JJ Klein said, it's one less on the scorecard.
That's
too.
right. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yes.
Sunrise golf or sunset?
Sunset.
Okay. And how would you shoot a lower score for 18 holes? You're a righty, correct?
Yes.
How would you shoot a lower score for 18 holes? Righty with one hand or lefty with two?
Probably righty with one hand.
Yeah. Have you ever messed around?
I have hit a little bit, but it's difficult. Yeah, it's like starting over again.
It is starting over. And then in the hotel during tournament week, you just flip through the channels, or you watching movies at night? Kind
of a combination. The Suns are playing this. Suns are in the playoffs right now, so I'll probably watch the Suns games. But other than that, probably movies. Yeah,
love it. Okay, cool. Let's do a random rule question, and this always scares people because they always wonder, oh gosh. You're going to quiz me on the rules now. I'm just going to ask you a fun question about the rules. So you just tell me when to stop.
Okay.
We're going through the entire rule book here.
Yeah, I think they changed the rule book recently, so we'll see how this goes.
Let's go rule 17. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, well, these rules are about playing a ball from penalty area. Okay. So that question's easy. How about a really crazy moment where you hit a ball out of a hazard or water, or just a spot you really shouldn't have been playing out of?
Oh, I probably had a lot of those over the years. Let me try to think. 1 year, this is when I was playing just out of college. I was playing an amateur event, and my golf ball I guess you could say it's not quite a penalty area, but I was in a bunker and I plugged.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know you could take it unplayable, but you got to leave it in the bunker. So I played 2 balls, but my golf ball was so far plugged that it took me like 5 shots to get out. So I played 2, and the other one was I took a drop outside the bunker, which you can't do. Oh. So if your ball is really plugged in the bunker, you can take the unplayable, but you got to drop it in the bunker.
Just in the bunker.
Yeah.
Which probably would have been a pretty good lie compared to what you had.
Yes, that would have saved me probably 4 shots.
I think the ball probably went deeper the first couple.
I think it did. Yes.
Yep. All right, we're going to avoid those this week.
All right, yes.
We'll wrap with our 19th hole question, Jessie. This one's easy. You get into your favorite clubhouse. What's your go-to order, your favorite meal and drink after a long day on the course?
Oh, probably a cold beer and I don't know, probably maybe nachos and a cold beer after a long day. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can't go wrong with nachos. Yeah, Love that. Great answer.
Yes,
Jessie, thank you so much for hopping on the course of life. Best of luck this week with everything at GCU. And next time out in the Valley, I'll see you for sure.
Sounds great.
Okay? Awesome.
All right.
We're back. Great chat there with Jessie. Love to hear about the atmosphere going on at these Grand Canyon University basketball games.
So
Sounds like college basketball but louder.
Oh yes, I love it. The live golf reference there. Yeah, it really quite might be actually. It's a new generation of college basketball fandom, and to see the Havocs in full action, you got to check out the videos on YouTube if you haven't already. These GCU games are awesome. Neat to see Jessie explain them from the firsthand experience, and no doubt he missed out this year on Oak Hill, but I'm sure Jessie will be back in future PGA Championships and major championships. So just keep an eye on that name in future years ahead.
And if you like that chat with Jessie, the one before he did with Annie, or everything else we do here on this podcast, go ahead and punch that subscribe button. Give us a rating on the podcast app you're using right now as well. Follow us on Instagram, COL Podcast, Course of Life Alex, MWRINC. We're on Twitter, Course of Life 1 and MWRINC. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, literally anything other than the actual AM/FM tuner that's in your car.
I'm going to get on there one day, Mike, and then we're going to be on there and FM laughing at everyone one day.
I won't laugh at everyone. I will welcome them with open arms because they got us there. How dare you insult them? But make sure to give us a follow there. We certainly are always searching for positive affirmations, even though we're New Englanders and we don't know how to take a compliment at all. Speaking of New Englanders, let's talk about basketball, because the Celtics maybe have now expunged the curse of the Garden in the postseason during this 2023 year.
Yeah, so you know what happened, Mike? The Celtics lost Game 5 on Wednesday night while I was in Boston, and things were grim. We had to win 2 games from there to win the series against the Sixers. Thursday night, I was driven by TD Garden on my way to the airport. I unleashed a hex-like curse to reverse the bad luck at TD Garden, unlike anything I've ever done in my life. And it worked to a T, clearly, because we absolutely crushed it in Game 7 to move on to the conference finals. So I'm going to keep that good juju going into the conference final matchup with the Miami Heat. Mike, Celtics back in the Final Four. Who knew? We're back.
I mean, it's time to get on the bandwagon, because let's be honest, we are mild bandwagon Celtics fans. So who are we gonna play in the NBA Finals? Because we know we're beating the Heat, because that's happening. So we playing LeBron and the Lakers, or we playing the Nuggets?
So I mean, if you're asking what I'd like the easiest path to be, I'd love to just get by the Heat and play the Nuggets. But what the world and ESPN and Stephen A. Smith and the media and every single basketball fan wants to see is Celtics versus Lakers and LeBron James in the NBA Finals. I don't know if you could set up a grander matchup in NBA basketball. So that's the elephant in the room right now for the next week or two, if the Lakers and Celtics can get by their opponents here in the conference finals. But should be fun, just chomping at the bit to see if that storyline comes to fruition. I will turn into a very, very, very passionate man if we are in the finals against Lakers and LeBron.
Almost as passionate as we were when Quinnipiac won the NCAA Division I Men's Ice Hockey National Championship.
It could equal those levels. Yeah, not quite Patriots Super Bowl levels, but it could reach those insane levels. So here's to the Celtics for getting it done in Game 7, and we're officially on to the conference finals. Should be fun to watch in Boston and Miami.
All right, let's #AlwaysEndWithFood.
Yes, food segment to wrap up every Course of Life podcast. And it was an anniversary for myself and my wife.
Happy anniversary. This was what, year 4?
Time flies, right? 4 years ago, that wedding was.
They say if you make it 5 years, then you're golden. So you're almost there.
So we still got about 51 more episodes to decide if things are going to work out. Okay, great. That's a lot of podcasting for then. But so we celebrated the 4th anniversary. Italian food. We went to Northern Italian cuisine, downtown Austin. Started off with the Italian farm salad and a truffle butter garlic bread. Absolutely to die for. Right? A heap of truffle butter the size of a Desert Fox phone caddy. How about that?
Ooh,
is that enough truffle butter for you?
Good crossover right there. Good job.
And then I went with the chicken parm with Alfredo, and she got the spicy rigatoni. 9.5 out of 10. North delivered again. Happy anniversary to both of us. Italian food, always a good, safe way to go when you're having dinner out with the wife.
It sounded fantastic, Alex. I only wish that it was a safe play if I went out with my wife, because she's not a big Italian fan, so we never go out for Italian.
Oh, gosh. What, you got to sneak that in, like get it to go on your own or something like that? What do you do?
Maybe I'll just make myself a pot of spaghetti here at home. And plus, and the pre-diabetes, I don't need a lot of carbs. So if I'm going to have carbs, I'm going to maybe have something sweet and delicious, which is what I did do myself this weekend.
Yes, nice segue. I saw this cake at MWRINC on Instagram to feast your eyes on this cake, but do your justice and try and describe it to everybody.
So this was a white chocolate blueberry cake. And I'm going to preface with, it looked better than it tasted.
Oh, okay. Again, at MWRINC to marvel at the pic. It's beautiful. Just look at it and admire how beautiful it is. That's it.
Big shout out to the wife for helping with decorating, because I'm not a decorator. She helped me a lot with doing a lot of the decoration on it. But it's actually from a Great British Bake Off cookbook. It's not a cake that was made on the show, but it's in the book. It's a very simple white cake with blueberries, and then with a white chocolate buttercream. And then I made a blueberry jam to go into the frosting, go into the buttercream at the end, the little roses on top that it made. It was good. It wasn't great.
I appreciate the try on the white chocolate blueberry combo, though. That's a good effort.
I think if I did it again, I actually might try to do like a mixed berry, like blueberry, raspberry, blackberry, and then add a little something to the cake layer to give it a little bit more flavor, a little lemon to really kind of lift it, because it was a little flat. And I overbaked the cake as well, just a little bit. So that was the other problem. So there
it is. All right, you live and you learn. Still a very impressive presentation. MWRINC to check out that cake. At AlwaysEndWithFood for our food content. At COL Podcast for everything else. We thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hit that subscribe button right now before you leave, and we'll see you next week.